I'm going to show you how I do transfer drawings using Akua ink to make transfer paper. So this is Akua Intaglio ink, which is quite viscous. And I just roll it out onto a palette using a brayer. This is like a 3-inch-ish brayer. And then roll it onto a sheet of newsprint. Now, newsprint is really absorbent, making it a really good choice for transfer paper. It'll take quite a lot of that ink. I try to spread the ink out reasonably evenly, but if you've got some lighter applications of the ink around the edges, it'll just change the character of your transfer line just a little bit. Using the ink that's left over on the palette, I just make a trace monotype, which is really the same thing as a transfer drawing. It's just upside down. It's the paper face down on the ink rather than the ink face down on the paper. To make a transfer drawing, you simply put the transfer paper face down on your paper and then draw. I'm using a ballpoint pen here. And I'm moving the transfer paper around so that what I see on the back of the transfer paper is not exactly what shows up in my sketchbook. This is just so that I don't know what I'm doing. Sometimes things turn out better that way. You'll see a little bit of ink transfer around the line, and that's called plate noise. It's characteristic of this process, and you can control how much or how little plate noise you have. Paul Klee used this process a lot for drawings. Now I'm going to do some transfer drawings into my sketchbook over images that are already there. So this is sort of fun because you don't really know how your lines are relating to the imagery on the page you're working on. Again, not knowing what you're doing is sometimes a useful thing. So you will come up with some surprises. Always good in a sketchbook. Here I'm tearing out a piece of collage that was just too thick to do transfer drawing over, and replacing that with a nice dense scribble. Generally, I'm trying to make different kinds of lines and marks with this one tool. And then here I'm using the broad side of my thumbnail to make a thick mark, and then the edge of it to make a thinner mark. And here's a few pages that already have transfer drawing on them.